I'm Teresa Corte. I'm an application engineer for project delivery. And today, what we are going to see in this session is how to configure deliverables management service. First of all, just to talk a little bit about the topic schedules, right? For the last 2 weeks, we've been giving this office hour sessions. Today and tomorrow are the two last sessions for deliverables management. April 15 and 16 is for Eastern Time. And then from April 20 to May 1st, we have the same sessions, but for uh, Universal Time +8, right? So the other side of the world. Remember that you have all these schedules in the landing page for office hours. One thing that it's really important also is that if you want to review these sessions or someone wasn't able to participate in the session, we'll have the recordings in Facebook and in YouTube. So, as I mentioned before, today we are going to see how to configure deliverables management. First of all, what is deliverables management? Service, it's one of ProjectWise 365 services, which will allow you to manage all your transmittals, submittals, RFIs, general correspondence. You can keep track of the times, the participants, the due dates, response due date, if someone is late or not, etc. So we will start configuring. The first thing you need to use deliverables management is to have a ProjectWise project in connect.bentley.com. I will show you just that in a minute. But what I want to show you is that when you select deliverables management for the first time, you will have to turn on the service. You will have to do this the first time you you access deliverables management for each project. You have to turn it on. If it's the first time you access deliverables management in your organization, you will have to submit a service request. Just click here on this link. It will take you to a service request page where you will just add that you want to start using deliverables management. And in a couple of days, you will have the service turned on and uploaded. As I mentioned before, this is just once per organization and for the first project that you turn on deliverables management. So now let me go live just to show you how to configure. As I mentioned before, you need to go to connect.bentley.com, sign in with your credentials. You will need a ProjectWise project. If you don't have a ProjectWise project, you can register. If you have the rights to register a project, you will register with a plus sign, add all the fields and the required fields, and register. Once you register the project, you will land on this page. Here we have the ProjectWise project landing page where you will see all the details of the project, the team members. You can add team members, invite external organizations, and all the ProjectWise 365 services. Today we are going to see deliverables management. Just click here. And before using deliverables management, you have to configure some settings. To configure those settings, we will select this gear to the upper right corner. And we will go through almost all the settings in order, right? So the first one is general. Let's say you have another project, you already use deliverables management, you have all the settings in that project that you like. For this new project, you can copy all the other project setting, identification, cover letter, purpose, everything. You can copy from one project to the other. In this case, I don't have another project, so I will configure everything. Identification. Here you will have how your transmittals and submittals will be named. The name of the project, deliverables management, for example, transmittal and a number, RFIs and a number, general correspondence. Transmittals and submittals, we have the same number. And then classification. You can classify your transmittals or RFIs or general correspondence in different ways. It may be discipline, it may be area on a construction site, it may be the classification that you really like or want in a project. Just if you want to add a classification, click on the plus sign. I will add areas. You can have as many um, labels as you want, and you can, if you want, you can change the order of the labels. You can also select if you want the classification to be a required attribute or not. I will make it a required attribute. Then the participants. I should have started here because without participants you don't have deliverables management. So to add internal participants from your own organization, just click Add New, add the email of each one of your internal participants, the title if you want, and the permissions, for example. Now Mark is part of deliverables management for this project and he has all these rights. I'm the administrator because I created the ProjectWise project and turn on deliverables management. You can add as many users as you want. Afterwards, we will see how you can invite external participants. Then we have purposes. For each transmittal, you will select which purpose. If it's for review, the documents that you are sending are for review, for approval, for information, any other purpose that you want. You will have to decide if you want that transmittal to be acknowledged, if you need a response for that purpose, depending on the purpose, if it's confidential or not, and the response type. In this case, for review, the participant has to acknowledge and respond, right? And the response types are approved, approved with comment, rejected, revise or resubmit, and will not respond. If you want to create a new purpose, just click on new purpose, add a title or the title, for example, for information confidential. So I just want an acknowledge because the documents I will send with this purpose are just for information. I want an acknowledge that they received the transmittal, but I will click here, confidential data is included. This means that only the recipient of the transmittal will be able to view the content. If confidential data is not selected, all the participants of deliverables management for that company, right, for the organization will be able to view the package. And then, for example, I don't want any response because it's just for information. I created here the purpose and now I can, I don't know, I can change the order of the purpose. For attributes, you can delete also some purposes if you want. For example, I don't want for construction, I can delete. Attributes. You can add which attributes you want to receive or to send with your documents. These are just the ones that come by default. But for example, you want to add, let's say, vendor name. And the vendors that you're working with in this project are mainline and let's say two, equal. And this is an attribute that it's also required. So you can select only this one of these two attributes. You can add as many attributes as you wish also. Scheduling. Each transmittal, RFI, and general correspondence will have an acknowledgement due date and a response due date. Those are the dates that you want to track. By contract, for example, for I don't know, review transmittal, the recipient has, let's say, 7 days to respond. If they are late, they have to pay for the cost of being late. If not, of course, nobody has to pay for the cost. But this is the way that you can track if they are late responding the transmittals or not. The same for RFI and general correspondence. You can have different response due date for each one of these. This is the default that when you create a transmittal, you will have these two values. You can change that afterwards if you want. I will show you how you can change that. Notifications. Here are all the notifications that all the participants will receive while working with deliverables management. With deliverables management, you can change the sender and the format. The sender, for example, if I send a transmittal, it will be my email. I can change that and my name. The sender email in this case is no reply at bentley.com. You can change that and you can check the SPF. The SPF, you have all the explanation of what the SPF is, but the idea is that maybe in your company you cannot receive emails from no reply at and a domain. So you have to add another email. For example, no reply at and your company's domain.com, right? If you want to know if you can receive notifications, you can send um, just a test notification to your email address. Regarding the notifications, you can search for these notifications, for example, response. I don't know, correspondence, response overdue. You can click here and you can modify the text of the of the of the email. You can also modify, I don't know, change the font if you want, right? But also here, for example, this is the variable package URL. It will automatically put in the message body the link to the transmittal or RFI of general correspondence. Here you have all the variables if you want to add something. Also, you can add a picture, right? An image if you want to your email, a link. Hmm. Cover letters. Deliverables management, when you create a transmittal, it will create the cover letter automatically. This cover letter, it's an Excel file with a default format. What you can do is download the default cover letter. You will open the Excel file, and for example, here the size is wrong. It should be letter. That's it. So, for example, you can change here your logo and the name of your company. You have all these project name, transmittal code, all these are variables. You have to be careful what you modify here. Also, the gray area is not printable area, only this part is printable. So also you have to be careful there. But for example, you will have, okay, all the transmittal details, the sender, comments if you had a comment, the recipients, but for documents, I want to have also the vendor's name, right? Instead of the file path as attribute, I want the vendor name. So here I will change to vendor name for the title of this column. And what I will do is I need this document attribute dot get value and the name of the variable of that attribute that I added as vendor name. Oops, sorry. There. So you can change and modify your cover letter this way. Once you finish, you will save it. You can change the name, of course. Close here, and you will have to upload the new cover letter. Desktop here. It will check that everything is okay. If something wrong, it will tell you. And I want this one, the new one, to be the default cover letter. So I select the cover letter and set as default. Okay, so I will create a transmitter just to show you what we have configured. In this case, I will create a transmittal from the portal. Tomorrow, I will show you all the process of transmittal, RFI, and general correspondence. But the idea is to show you everything that I've just configured. So I will go to new transmittal to create a transmittal, add a subject, and the purpose, for example, see that I have for review, for approval, for information confidential. If I select this one, the confidential data included will be automatically checked. I will add a comment. And the classification is required. If I don't add the classification, I won't be able to issue the transmittal. So I will select a classification, and here I have my cover letter that was set by default. If I want, I can change it. The recipients, in this case, I have only another recipient from my own company. As the purpose is for information only, the recipients are not supposed to respond to the or are not expected to respond to the transmittal, so only the acknowledge button is checked, or the acknowledge option is checked. Then I will add some documents, uh, a couple of documents, and I get a warning that required attributes are missing. So once they finish uploading, I will add those required attributes. In this case is vendor name. I can add the other attributes if I want also. Mainline, and I will add mainline also. If I don't add these required attributes, I won't be able to issue the transmittal. And last, I have the scheduling, and I have the plan issue date here. The plan issue date is, for example, I don't know, this Friday. This doesn't mean that I cannot issue my transmittal today, right? And I can set a reminder one day before the planned issue day so I don't forget to issue the transmittal. The acknowledged due date is set by default to 2 days after the issue date. I can set it, I don't know, to 5 days, let's say, a reminder also. And in this case, the response due date, the response due date is not, we don't have because we don't need to, this is for information only. If, let's say I change, instead for information, I change for review, the recipient is forced to respond. If I go to scheduling, see that now I have the response due date, and by default it's 7 because that's what I set in the configuration, right? I can change this if I want. And a reminder. Once I finish adding everything, I can send this draft for review, for example, so my manager can review all the transmittal and then issue, or I can issue a transmittal. Deliverables management will create or generate all the cover letter with all the details of the transmittal. I can review the cover letter before issuing. And I know I've changed only the vendor name, but see that here now I have the vendor name instead of the path to the transmitter. As I see that everything is okay, I will confirm. The recipients will receive an email notification, and all that process of responding to the transmittal and everything, we will see it tomorrow. What I want to show you today also is how you will invite external participants. The external participants are invited, or external organizations are invited through the ProjectWise project landing page. Here you have external organizations, just select manage. And the idea is that you invite the main contact for this project, right? So you will invite an organization, the primary point of contact, right? And not each one of the other organization's participants. So in here I will add myself, but from another company that it's called eagle.bentley.com. So this is the primary point of contact from Eagle organization. Eagle, it's an external organization. Please join us in collaborating with Deliverables Management. So you include your message here, right? And the idea is you will invite this participant, and then once he accepted the invitation, he will add his own internal participants from his organization. We will send the invitation, and in this case, the invitation was sent. It's pending. Why? Because Teresa Corti from Eagle organization must accept the invitation. So let me go to my Outlook. I should have received, here it is. So this is the invitation that Teresa Corti from Eagle has received. So I can click on this button to view the invitation. I will just copy the hyperlink and go to another browser. And the external participant will have to sign in with his Bentley credentials if he has, or there is an invitation process that will allow you to register the will allow him to register the user, right? If he doesn't have an IMS user. I have one in Eagle, so I will sign in. Now I'm the external participants, right? I will sign in. I will accept the invitation. Deliverables management supply chain process will create automatically a project-wise project to start collaborating through deliverables management. So here I'm in Eagle infrastructure. This is the external organization. As an external organization from Eagle, I have Bentley because Bentley was the one that invited me. Hmm? And now if I go back to Bentley I, and I come here, you can see that Eagle, Teresa Corti, accepted the invitation. So now you can send transmittals, submittals, or RFIs to this external participant also. So here we have seen almost everything about configuring deliverables management. I can see there are some questions. Let me check. Document store. Can you use, so Mark has been answering some of the questions, but I will read them because I think everyone can see the chat, but I don't know. So just in case. Carl asks, can you use documents stored in ProjectWise instead from the local hard drive? Yes. You will you can see that you can use ProjectWise or documents from ProjectWise. We will see that all that process tomorrow. We will create transmittals from ProjectWise Explorer, send them to someone that doesn't have ProjectWise, and will respond and acknowledge from the portal, and then view all those responses and everything from ProjectWise Explorer also. Um, Can the schedule be based on a project-wise workflow state or rules engines instead of a hard date? No, it's just a hard date. And why it's a hard date and not, for example, 5 weekdays or working days? It's because we collaborate with globally. So for us, for example, in Eastern time, let's say 5 working days from now, today is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It will be next Wednesday. But from someone in Australia, maybe those 5 working days, it's not Wednesday, it's Thursday. So it's really complicated. So that's why it's a hard date. Something that it's important in the landing page, you will have a PDF with all these. Here I have, let me show you the PowerPoint that I was using, but I created a PDF. I created a PDF with all these slides, so um, you can have it as a guide. But what I really want to show you, it's at the end, you will have all the links um, to the help document for deliverables management, how to configure everything. Okay, so thank you everyone. And if you want, we will meet tomorrow.